Hello students, welcome to Sitaram IAS tutorial. So the question is, the frequent promulgation of ordinance is an assault on the democratic structure of the constitution. Critically analyze. So here, frequent promulgation means unnecessarily introducing it. Okay, and yes, ordinance is the temporary law which is uh, introduced during emergency situations or during immediate public importance. Okay, so here frequently introducing the ordinance can be can affect the democratic structure of the constitution, so we have to analyze it. So here the ordinance making power is a special power given to the president and the governor. Okay, for president the ordinance making power is under article 123, and for governor it is 213. Okay, so the ordinance can be made only during the emergency situations or during the immediate public importance. It can be made when the parliament sessions are not working. Okay, and yes, under this article 123 and 213, the executive will have more power than legislature. So if the ordinance is introduced, it will be working until the after the 6 weeks of parliament session. Okay, if I introduce a ordinance this time, I am a president and I introduce an ordinance now. So if there is a session next month, so after the session, after 6 weeks, till 6 weeks, the ordinance will be active. And if the parliament passes the ordinance, then that ordinance will become a permanent law. If the parliament will not pass the ordinance, then after 6 weeks of the parliament session, it will lapse. Okay, this is about ordinance. So first we have to analyze. Next, if you want more information about the ordinance, write it down, research in the net. Okay, and make any form of diagram. So let's start with the answer. Ordinance is a powerful weapon with which public safety and security can be maintained during critical situations of the country. Started with a quote. Next, the body. Ordinance is a law introduced during emergency situations or in immediate public importance. The ordinance making power is vested in the president and the governor under Article 123 and 213 of the Constitution, respectively. It can be issued only when both houses of parliament are not in session. Issues with the frequent promulgation of ordinance, as they asked in the question. So it violates the spirit of the constitution. When ordinances are frequently introduced and reissued, it violates the spirit of the constitution. So as per the Supreme Court judgment, frequently introducing ordinance is unconstitutional and illegal. Okay, next is against the principle of separation of power. When only executive are given more powers to ordinance than legislature, the the principle of separation of power is violated. Next is impact on center and state relations. So frequently issuing ordinance by the executive disturbs the center and state relations. Next, affects the democracy of the country. So frequently making ordinance by the executive without any public importance poses undemocratic situations and is related to unconstitutional act. So there is a need to define the terms mentioned under Article 123 and 213, like emergency situations, in command, necessity, should be defined clearly to prevent the misuse of ordinance making power, and the executive should also exercise self resistance and use ordinance making power sparingly as mandated by the constitution makers. So this is a diagram I have drawn. If I didn't get, I have made these points as a cluster map. Okay, so make these points as a cluster map and then you pose the answer.